I'm going to be reading out this particular review from the DWRG of The Invasion of Time, Gallifreyan Plot by Paul X from the 2nd of the 7th, 98. The Invasion of Time is a puzzling story to evaluate because there are plenty of good and bad things about it. Typical of a Graham Williams story, the plot has many twists and turns to keep the viewer interested over 6 episodes. Some shoddy sets, questionable acting/characterization, and conflicts to the deadly assassin are a few criticisms that detract from the story. The sequences involving the lower levels of Gallifrey fail to convey any technological sophistication. When the Doctor attempts to disconnect the shields, it looks as if Tom Baker is messing around with the heating system of a hotel rather than a complicated piece of engineering protecting the entire planet. The idea of the Doctor tinkering with the system is fine, but the execution of the scenes make it hard to take seriously. On the flip side, the episodes inside the TARDIS are harshly criticised because of the normal-looking interiors, such as the concrete steps, masonry corridors, infirmary with regular glass/wooden doors, and workshop that looks more like a high school woodshop. The unpredictable ordinariness and unusual mishmash of styles creates a richer overall impression of the ship rather than all the sterile rondels that became typical later in the show's history. Agreeably, the scenes probably could have been lit better, but the end result leaves the impression the TARDIS interior is as bizarre as its owner. The Vardans and Sontarans start off well as villains, but regress to comedic foils. The opening sequences aboard the Vardan ship are mysterious. The Vardan dialogue while the Doctor is being inducted as president is vague and chilling. Even when they are physically introduced at the end of episode 2, it's unsure who these invaders are. The means of travelling along wavelengths and the possibilities of the Matrix being invaded are not fully explored. These are great conceptual ideas not executed effectively. However, the shimmering tinfoil effect wears thin, and when they finally materialise as bumbling plumbers, it's a real letdown. The simplicity with they are dispatched, placing a ton of jewellery on K9 and voila, time loop, could have been resolved differently. The Sontarans fare much better. Their introduction at the end of episode 4 is unexpected. The intimidating instrumental music captures the moment perfectly. The initial massacre conveys the Sontarans are more formidable and bloodthirsty than the Vardans. The Sontarans are supposed to be a very deadly, powerful enemy, yet they too degenerate into buffoons. The ease which the Doctor deals with them, and in some cases the comedic manner in which he does, detracts from their impact. The DMAT gun, which ultimately resolves everything, seems like too easy a solution, deus ex machina at work. Still, compared to the tinny Vardans, one really can't complain. Unlike in The Deadly Assassin, the Time Lords are stereotypically overplayed as dignified technocrats lacking creativity, ingenuity, or depth. With the exception of Barusa, definitively portrayed by John Arnott, all the other Gallifreyan characters seem like cardboard cutouts. Andred is a dashing hero with little to do except look dashing. Kellner is an obsequious sycophant fawning after the Vardans/Sontarans. Rodan is a book-smart time lady obtuse to the situations around her, although an interesting idea, the Outlers, Shobogans, are a rather dull tribe of Gallifreyan dropouts. The Time Lords play second fiddle to the Doctor, much in the same way Unit did towards the end of the third Doctor's tenure. The heavy-handed manner in which the Doctor is differentiated from other Gallifreyans makes it difficult to believe such a society is capable of great technological achievement. Lastly, the main roles are pretty well characterised except for Leela. Although one of the most independent and well-portrayed companions, Leela is given a bum deal in this story. Throughout, Leela's lack of education is handled in a condescending manner, even in the final TARDIS scene. "I'll miss you too, Savage." Several occasions her limited vocabulary is targeted for some humour. In the end, Leela comes off more as a childish primitive than an instinctively intelligent warrior. This is unfortunate because Louise Jameson's performance had been brilliant for most of her stories. Her staying behind to marry Andred is preposterous. A more suitable parting might have been to have the Time Lords return her to the Sever team, perhaps to marry Thomas, if anyone at all. All in all, I find The Invasion of Time to be an enjoyable story, probably because I saw it for the first time as a child and could appreciate it at a more superficial level. As if most Graham Williams stories, the details do not live up to the conceptual ideas behind them, but it's still fun to watch.